My name is Jasmine Blanchard. I'm doing a presentation on STD reoccurrence rate in patients that come into the health department. There's a big misconception out there. People assume like once they get an STD that they won't get it again, but that's false. So we need to educate our patients and let them know like just because you got treated does not mean you won't get it again. A question that they ask, if I've been treated for an STD, can I catch it again? The answer is yes. The body does not create an immunity system against it. And once you get treated, you have to make sure that the people you are having sexual intercourse with, they get treated as well. And make sure you are using protection, so it's important to let them know that. The STD reoccurrence rate for chlamydia, it reoccurs 26.3% in women who have been previously diagnosed within the last 30 to 365 days. And then for gonorrhea, you have a 6.3% in chronic and 4.5% in complicated conditions that it reoccurs in. So you just need to educate them again that it will happen again if you continue with the activities that you are doing and being kind of careless in that sense. But I feel like it's kind of I don't want to say our fault, but we need to do more in educating them and encouraging them to get their partners tested and educate them on how to prevent from getting it again. So common reasons for an STD reoccurrence: taking the medications incorrectly, forgetting to make sure their partner gets treated, being exposed to new STDs. So just because if the medication says they have to take something for 10 days, you got to make sure you take it for 10 days in a row. Don't skip a day. Don't think you could just take a little bit here, save some later. And if people's partners need medication also, we can also prescribe the patient an extra dose to give to their partner. The partner doesn't necessarily have to come in and get tested, even though we do encourage them to get tested because they might have something else that you don't have, but that is an option. And why should a change be made? Although most STDs can be treated, these diseases reoccur and can be detrimental to the patient's health, especially women. It can affect fertility in both males and females. And stuff like syphilis, it can attack your brain. And in women, it could cause pelvic inflammatory diseases. So there are long-term effects if they do get reinfected, and they may not know that they're reinfected because they think like, I just got treated last week, there's no way I could be infected, so they may not go and get retested, and now it causes long-term effects. So we need to actually also educate them on long-term effects and reoccurrences. So these are just a few symptoms that you see in men and women. I'll let you guys just read that. And we have pamphlets we could give to the patients also if they want to take it home so they can show their partners. But if they don't have one partner and they do have multiple, just encourage them to talk to the people that they are sleeping with. And if they're not comfortable enough to sleep with those people, or talk to the people they're sleeping with, then they probably shouldn't be with them. And how does this problem resolve in a decrease in patient outcomes, and how does it reduce nursing effectiveness? Patient outcomes are affected because we treat them and do not stress them enough about their actions and how STDs can reoccur. Patients think because they are cured that they don't need to have, patient thinks because they are cured now, they can have unprotected sex, but that is not the case. So just because you got your treatment doesn't mean like, oh, I'm good now, so I could just go mess around with whoever I want to, because the next person you mess around with, they might have something, now you're infected again. And a lot of people, like especially men, they rely on women to go get tested, and once the women get tested, then the man assumes they're good, but that's not always the case either. So we need to make sure both parties are getting tested. And if patients are continuing to come back into the clinic to be retreated, I feel like us as nurses, we haven't done our job correctly. Like, obviously there's something that we're doing that's not getting to them. They shouldn't be getting infected again. So we need to stress the education, provide more information to them, give them pamphlets. We need to give them like resources and stuff like that. And even if they feel embarrassed to talk to their partners, we need to be there to either encourage them to do it or be that person to talk to their partners. What is the root cause of the suspected problem? The root cause is ineffective teaching, and we need to do better educating our patients, as I've said, and I'll continue to say it because that's really where the root problem lies. It's just the patients are not educated, and I think a lot of times nurses, because we're educated, we assume everyone else knows these things, and we think like, oh, it's common sense, but that's not true. A lot of people don't have access to the type of education that we received. So what needs to be done to correct the problem? We need to provide resources to patients. We can provide them with more education for them and their partners. And as I said that earlier, what personal obligation related to this change? How will your change affect you and the care you provide? As a nurse, I feel personally obligated to best treat our patients, although technically we are curing them for the STD. So yeah, you can say like, oh, we're doing a good job treating them because they're cured. It's not our fault that they go out there and do it again, but it kind of is, because if we don't tell them like, hey, just to let you know, just because you're good doesn't mean you won't get it again, then of course they're just gonna go back again and do it because they figure, oh, it's easy to get treatment, so who cares whatever I get. So we need to stress to them the long-term effects, as I mentioned earlier, so that they don't feel like, oh, it's just easy to get treated. Like, it doesn't get that easy. It can have an effect on your body. And as I mentioned earlier, not assuming that patients should know certain things about treatments. Discuss potential outcomes related to this change. How will it improve patient outcomes? With these changes implemented, patients will be more educated about STDs and how to prevent them from ever catching them again. We will provide them with more resources for themselves and their partner, and we can provide people with patients to call and receive more information if they need. There will be a drop in the STD rate in the community. So the more we educate them, the less people have STDs. The less people that have STDs, the less people to spread them. So in a whole, we'll all be winning in our community. And that's my reference page, and that's